Earlier, we're going to be talking about electrics or solar energy, which is an international conference and exhibition held in Egypt for several years now, discussing electricity, power energy, and solar energy technologies in Egypt. And we will be talking about the major goals and outcomes of this conference. On this issue, we're delighted to be joined by Dr. Amr Shawky, Chairman of Arab Power and Energy Industries Association. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning to you too. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Dr. Shawky.
Thank you.
First of all, before air, you have kindly mentioned to our attention, or drawn to our attention, that this conference has been on for 25 years.
Yes.
So if you'd like to elaborate on the history of the conference.
Yes, of course. I will give you the history. The history started in 1991 when we started organizing this exhibition, which is tagged Electrics. It was very small. It was run in a small banquet hall in a hotel, covering just 600 square meters with the 26 Egyptian companies. Today, after 26 years, we are running it for the 26th round, which is covering 17,000 square meters. We have 280 companies, 65% of this coming from 18 countries out of Egypt. We are running 2 parallel conferences covering all aspects of smart energy, solar energy, electrical power from the generation up to the distribution. So it's an old event. It's one of the oldest events in Egypt. We have in Egypt a number of industrial events that we've been running. I don't mean ourselves, but I mean in Egypt, for at least 10 to 12 big events that they are very well known internationally. This event became one of the top 10 in the world in terms of inviting companies from abroad to come to Egypt, as well as very famous speakers coming from all of the region.
But what are the major goals and what are the major topics that will be discussed during the conference, and what are the expected outcomes of the conference?
Well, I would like to thank the Nile TV for inviting us and focusing on this effort. This is very important to mention, that this event is inviting, and you will be witnessing in Egypt more than 180 companies coming from out of Egypt. They are showing their products, their developments, and within the conference we have many sessions run by speakers from these countries. The goal that we have set since the inception of this event back to 1991 is actually developing this industry. Is turning from importing the products into assembling products into the final manufacturing in Egypt. So the goal was always the same. It's not changing, and we will not change the goal until we make sure that we are manufacturing all our products within this industry that is huge. Probably this industry that is running our life, which is electricity. You may not know that over 250,000 people are behind this industry in this country.
But are we expecting a boom in this industry in Egypt?
Definitely yes. I'm sure you have witnessed in the last 2.5 years a boom in improving the electrical network. We had major blackouts in the network, and you're not suffering with the electricity. Behind this is a big effort in stabilizing the network, in adding new generating sets. In the latest is getting involved with the solar energy, which is the trend in the world now because of the cost of the petrol and because of the location of Egypt, which is in a prime location in the world. People do not know this, that we are in the best location in the world for energy. So there is a boom coming in this industry, which is not new. This industry has been very well established in Egypt for the last 30 years. And we have over 650 local manufacturing facilities in this country.
Right, Dr. Shawky, if we look practically over the situation in Egypt, of course, not disagreeing with all what you have just mentioned. When we look over the power shortages that has been affected in the past 5 years because of different reasons, and this has been also in other places in the region, not only in Egypt, power shortages were affected. There is also suggestions that to urge or promote for going towards using or working on investing on energy, solar energy, because we have different sources for energy in Egypt, like you kindly mentioned. Did you just tackle one of these or some of these items or elements or ideas in your conference? And if you like to elaborate, what could be the future once we effect these ideas? How it's going to be the future? How the change is going to affect it economically in Egypt and developmentally also?
Well, talking about the energy generated right now, we don't have a shortage. And the proof that we don't have any power cuts anymore. But we have developments. So we are in a phase that we want to develop our land by agriculture. You cannot get into cultivating the land without electricity. We are more interested in production, which means that we are expanding the industrial power of Egypt. So we are still in a high demand of energy. Egypt has two other sources of energy that they are studying at the moment, and already we have on-running projects, which is solar energy and wind energy. The world is revolving around new energies, not just Egypt. So the cost of the new energy is still high. And there is an economical aspect here that when you look at generating power, you have to look at the available funds. Egypt is moving very, very fast towards the privatization of the energy, which means that nowadays, while we're talking, energy investors can come into Egypt and build their own stations and sell electricity to the government. This is happening in the solar energy at the moment. Probably it's in a, let's say, in a small scale, but it is expanding. Everything at the beginning has some obstacles and hurdles. I think we are going over all the obstacles and hurdles, and we are showing the world that there is a space here for energy investors, which is a new term in the world, that there is something called energy investor, where they know how to get a quick return on their investment. Egypt is an ideal location for them because Egypt is connected to other countries, so we can actually sell electricity when we have access of energy. So the future is bright. The future is not just related to how much we are generating, it's how much we can export. The real challenge and the real achievement is when we generate at a low cost and export at a high cost, at a high price. That is the challenge, and I think we are tackling this very clearly, and you can always see Dr. Shawky, His Excellency the Minister of Electricity, talking about this specific issue. It's not looked at as a power cut or a power shortage. We have passed this stage. This stage was a couple of years ago when we had real shortage in the generated power. Now the installed power is sufficient. Whenever you see a drop, it's a technical fault. It's never a shortage. So people has to learn the difference.
So if we move to the second stage, which is investing on the different sources, wonderful sources that are located in Egypt, to be able to generate electricity through energy, different sources of energy. Lots of scientists have been talking about this, and people. So are there tangible plans that could be unfolded on the table to be able to invest in this kind of?
Definitely, yes. I would say the solar energy is on top of the agenda. And while we're talking now, the NEREA, which is the authority responsible for the renewable energy in Egypt, are installing 2 labs. One for testing and examining the solar heater systems, and the other one for the PV panels, which is the solar energy panels. These are the first 2 labs to be implemented in the region. This shows the plan. So it's a long-term plan based on knowledge, based on science. And not only this, I will answer your question in a different way. What's missing? What's missing is the awareness. And the awareness here comes from school. It doesn't really come from up high, not from the ministry. People are not aware of how to use energy. So the energy we use it in the wrong way. And we are not teaching our children how to save in energy and how to generate energy in a different way. The West has done a different story when it came to solar energy. They've been teaching solar energy at schools, so kids understand the importance of the solar energy. Not only this, there are things called solar energy schools. Solar school means the entire school is powered by solar panels, which means that the students can benefit from seeing the lights generated from the sun, and they do maintain the system. That is the awareness which we are missing, and I think we should focus more on the general awareness of how to use properly our energy, because we are not using the energy properly, wherever we are.
Right, Dr. Amr Shawky, Chairman of Arab Power and Energy Industries Association. Many thanks for your input, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting
coming,
us.
And I guess this brings us to the end of this edition of the Breakfast Show. My name is Tina Hussein. I have all the pleasure to have with me Niveen Ramzi as my Sunday morning partner. And until we see you again tomorrow, the new team, that's a goodbye.